Welcome to Acres and Aprons. We are Ryan and Samantha living on a 20-acre farm in Indiana with our 2 young boys. At the moment, we love all things dairy animals, gardening, tending to beehives, various poultry. That is definitely not where we started. Ryan grew up in South Florida and thought he was a fish his whole life, and I grew up on a small farm in Ohio. Farming was not something we were interested in, or it really wasn't even on our radar. In fact, I couldn't get far enough away from it when I moved out from my childhood home. Today, we're going to take you back to the beginning of our story and tell you a little bit about us. We got engaged in 2018 and we got married in 2019. At the time, we were both really into real estate and we worked our 9-to-5s, but real estate was our side gig and we kind of thought it would be our forever thing. We were really into buying and renovating, mostly DIYs. We did pretty much everything ourselves. We also flipped a couple properties, kind of unintentionally. We just realized after we renovated that we could make a profit, so we sold them, and we had quite a few rentals as well. I also got my real estate license in 2 states and started dabbling in that a little bit. I think we quickly realized that this was not what we wanted to do forever. We both enjoyed it, and we both still enjoy real estate and have rentals and buy and sell properties. But I think we realized it wasn't going to be our forever thing, and it wasn't going to be our full-time thing. Around this time, our firstborn was just under a year old. We had been married for 4 years, and we had moved 8 times. After being burned on one too many properties in the city, we decided to follow my parents out to the country, and we moved into a house in a neighborhood on a half an acre. We felt good here, we felt settled for the first time ever, and we kept calling it our 5 to 10 year home because that was our intention, and we got pregnant with our second son. This house kind of unintentionally started us on the road to homesteading because it had no HOA, so we had 6 chickens in the backyard that we got from someone from work, and Ryan decided to get into bees, so he got a beehive, and it was kind of a slippery slope from there. We decided that once we were done in this house, which was our 5 to 10 year house, we would look for some land. It was right around this time, after moving 8 times in 4 years and living in our house for a whopping 8 months, that we got a call about the perfect farm next door to my parents' farm that was coming up for sale. Our son was a little under 2 years old, and I was very pregnant with our second, but it was just the perfect orchestrated, weird series of events, and we knew it was from God and we had to do it. The timing was not ideal, but we could not bear the idea of letting this farm sell to somebody else and losing the opportunity to be neighbors with my parents, which was pretty much a dream come true. In fact, one of our requirements for down the road when we were ready to start looking for a farm was that we did not want to be more than 10 minutes from them. So we did what any sane person would do with a young toddler and a very pregnant wife. We bought the farm, and then we tore it to the studs. The house needed some updating, and we knew we didn't want to renovate after living in it, so we just got it over with. Over the next year, we started on a slippery slope towards homesteading, and we knew that's where we were headed eventually, but it all seemed like it was happening way too quick, and we had a 2-year-old and a 1-month-old, and we were not ready. It started slow. We got some Great Pyrenees dogs that had a litter of puppies unexpectedly, and then my parents started stashing their cow in our pasture.
Yeah, let's bring her over to the gate.
After we had been there for a few months, we got started on our garden in the fall, planning to use it for the next spring because we knew that was a reasonable next step. And that winter, my brother brought up the idea of tapping our maple trees, and that made sense. We had bees for honey, and so making maple syrup seemed like a good next step also. We're not sure if it was the boredom of winter or just the fact that it was the first time in our entire marriage that we didn't have a renovation going on or an upcoming move, but when the end of 2023 hit, the homesteading bug spiraled out of control. Before we knew it, we were tapping our maple trees to make syrup, tripling our beehives, hatching chickens in our bathroom in an incubator, finishing duck houses for our new ducks, planning for turkeys, and then all of a sudden clearing pasture for our new dairy sheep that we bought on a whim. If you know us in real life, you know that we don't really do things just a little bit. We're kind of go big or go home people, and we always have been. At this point, we decided we were going to go all in. This was going to be our future and our livelihood, and we realized 2 things. Number 1, if we were going to do this, we were going to have a self-sufficient farm. We knew for the scale of the operation that we were dreaming up that we could not afford it on our income. It was going to drain us. It was not something we wanted to do as a hobby. We wanted it to be a farm that could sustain itself financially. And number 2, we knew that if we were going to do this and we were going to go all in, that we were going to document the entire thing along the way. So we dove in. We started a social media account. We started planning. We started buying animals and building pastures and making plans for the future and milking our dairy sheep and all of the like. And that's where you guys come in at the current date in our first YouTube video ever. If you decide to follow along, you'll quickly realize that we don't know what we're doing. We're just figuring it out as we go. And that is in regards to the farm and the social media and the different platforms and basically everything that we're doing. It's all new, uncharted territory for us. We don't really know where life is going to take us, but we know where we want to go, and we don't really know how to get there, but we know we're going to figure it out. And the coolest part is we get to take you guys along for the ride. You get to see the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs of everything that we're learning. We are very transparent on sharing our mistakes and our shortcomings and also our successes and what we do well. If we've learned anything in the past few months that we've been doing this already, it's that we could plan and plan and plan all day, but this is not going to go the way we think it's going to go. In fact, I don't think anything we've done over the past few months has gone the way that we planned. We're really excited for what the future holds. We have a lot of big dreams and plans and things we want to bring to you guys in the future that I'm going to try not to spoil right now. We don't pretend to have it all figured out or really know what we're doing at all, but we do know one thing for sure. With a little bit of elbow grease and a whole lot of faith and a crowd of friends and family cheering us along the way, we can do anything we put our mind to, and that is what we intend to do. So we do hope you're here to stay and that you'll stick around and watch our journey as we go from city folk to full-time farmers, hopefully.